Second draft, and President William Ruto is yet again on the spot for hosting people with questionable past dealings at State House. Just a few weeks ago, after hosting former U.S. Congressman Mark Daly alongside the South Sudanese politician Albino Mathom Abuog, Ruto recently hosted controversial Zimbabwean businessman Wicknell Chivayo at State House for a meeting that has raised questions on the president's commitment to fight the corruption in the country. NTV's David Mudoka reports on the state of the war on graft by the Kenya Kwanza administration more than 2 years after ascending to power.
The controversial Zimbabwean businessman met President William Ruto at State House recently. According to this post that Wicknell Chivayo posted on X on Monday morning, the businessman wrote in part, and I quote, "En route to Tanzania for the 2025 Energy Summit, I had to seize the opportunity to connect with Africa's visionary leader, His Excellency President William Ruto of Kenya. His dedication to renewable energy reflects Africa's readiness to lead the global energy transformation." End of quote. It is the third time that Ruto has met the businessman who has been investigated in Zimbabwe and South Africa of alleged involvement in corrupt dealings. The meeting coming just days after Ruto hosted former Michigan Congressman Mark Daly. Daly was convicted in the U.S. in 2012 for obstructing justice. Against the backdrop of these meetings, questions have been raised over Ruto's commitment to fight the runaway graft in the country. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who Ruto recently accused of being corrupt and incompetent, being the latest leader to not only question Ruto's intention to fight graft, but also accuse him back of perpetrating corruption.
Anaenda pale Western, anasema tumefukuza huyu Rigathi Gachagua, and he is corrupt. William Ruto, my friend, do you have the moral authority to talk about corruption? So, Mr. President, be an honest man. Look for a mirror before you talk about corruption and look at yourself.
Gachagua further claimed that some of the key government projects are avenues of corruption.
That housing, initially we believed in the president, that in Yakulete Ajira, Nini, Maneno, Kisugu Mingi, we looked okay. Until it came to my attention, it has nothing to do with housing. Biashara.
Gachagua also delved into the organized crime and corruption reporting projects ranking of Ruto as the world's second most corrupt leader.
Juzi kumekuwa na opinion poll on the most corrupt person in the world. And we are unhappy that you are rigged. Instead of giving you number one, they gave you number two.
When President Ruto was sworn in more than 2 years ago, he promised to form a commission to investigate the degree of state capture in government within his first month in office. To date, the president has never set up a commission to investigate if a handful of wealthy and deeply connected Kenyans, otherwise known as deep state, indeed have captured government. A further concern of the government's letup in the war against corruption is the withdrawal of corruption cases by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions involving the big fish. Among those whose cases were dismissed is Gachagua himself, former cabinet secretaries Mithika Linturi and Aisha Jumwa, as well as former governor Mike Sonko. Others include former Kenya Power MD Ben Chumo and his Kenya Pipeline Company counterpart Joe Sang.
President William Ruto has got no intentions whatsoever of fighting corruptions. In fact, he has no idea why you people are disturbing him about corruption. So it's not going to happen. He has no intentions of fighting corruption, and he will continue having the corrupt people surrounding him. You've even seen his interesting visitors to State House. So it tells you that's his position on corruption.
Fanyamambo Kinuthia, a political analyst, is convinced that the fight against corruption lacks goodwill from State House, warning that corruption will continue to thrive with Ruto as president.
While there have been several reasons why President William Ruto has been under scrutiny lately, corruption stands out as one of the main reasons why President Ruto has been on the receiving end of criticism. Kenyan voters will now be watching closely to see whether the president will slay the monster that is corruption between now and 2027, when Kenyans will be returning to the ballot. David Muthoka, NTV, Nairobi.